Thank you very much, and welcome to the 30th anniversary of the European Economic Area, the EEA, and I think we can all agree you don't turn 30 every year, so of course this is why we've gathered today here. And I'm sure there's a question that came to mind: what is the EEA that you know? But the fundamental question is, what makes it so unique? And I was watching the video, I was there, and I think there were a number of messages that became clear. One is, of course, you're talking about an integrated market, intrinsic cooperation, a level of ambition that is shared, but also a desire to maintain a marketplace that is predictable. Of course, we know that is what business like to see, but it's also fair, balanced, and yet dynamic for companies and people. And also when you look at the video, and I was watching, and this also came to mind, if you look at the faces that we saw, and some of them are very familiar faces, especially if you're based in Brussels, there was this idea of common values, of common ideas, or maybe even ideals of how Europe should work. And clearly with the world now in a phase where it is very difficult to engage globally, there's a lot of challenges in a world in commotion, it has become very clear that doing trade and business with friends and allies is ever more important. The other point, of course, when you look at the 30 years, is the number itself. And I was told, not to get too much into my own age, but I was told that I would be representative of the EEA generation. And that also got me thinking into another point, which is my own personal experience in some ways. But if you're a part of this umbrella, obviously that also means it's not just about the business and the trade, but it gives you an ability to travel abroad, to study abroad, to meet other Europeans. And that is such a gift when you think about it. It is so special, and it is very unique to Europeans. And funnily enough, sometimes we take it for granted, but perhaps we shouldn't. And in fact, when you look at this partnership and you go back to the end of the Second World War, of course, that's when we know it becomes clear to Europeans a project of reconciliation is needed for Europeans and among Europeans. But it was also clear there were many visions for it. And one of them is the Treaty of Rome that clearly sets out the vision and the foundation for the single market and the European Union as we know it today. But there was also the EFTA path, and that was a different model. They didn't want to join the customs union, but they did make it clear they wanted trade to flourish, and they wanted to integrate among Europeans. So then, of course, it's not easy to get to a breakthrough, and it's not easy to find a solution, but sometimes you find that in Europe, when you have the capacity to work, the political ambition, sort of the vision for it, and of course the great European Jacques Delors will come to mind, there is a way to find a breakthrough. And in that way, the EEA, the EFTA countries, managed to enter the single market and benefit from the four freedoms, and that takes us, of course, to the European Economic Area, which today we're celebrating for 30 years. It's always nice, I'm sure, to celebrate the past and look at what's been done, but it's also equally important to look to the future, and this is what we aim to do today. So I'm very happy and honored to be here, and on that note, and for a conversation, I would like to now invite the Minister of the Kingdom of Belgium, Mr. Nadia Labib.